Hi everyone, this is Steve and I've been working on voice over IP phones for several years. In this short video, I'm going to share with you some of the simplest things that cause voice over IP phones to not be working and how you can remedy them yourself before having to contact the IT department. So the simplest, and I know you're probably going to roll your eyes when I say this, is let's check the power. So right now this Polycom phone has a blank screen. There's nothing on it. So that means it's not getting power. So there's two ways that voice over IP phones get power. They either get power from a cord, like a power cord, like the same thing you would use to plug into any small electronic device. All right, and that goes in the bottom here. There's a little round circle spot there where it fits. It only fits in one place. And then the other end of it is a power supply. Now, the reason I'm bothering to go over this is the most common times when people report that their phones stop working is because they've moved furniture around or they've moved desks. So what can happen is either this doesn't get plugged back in, or what they do plug in is the wrong thing. So look at the power supply that goes to your phone and make sure it matches. For instance, this is a Polycom phone and this power supply says Polycom. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get that plugged in. Now, there is another way that phones get their power, and that's called power over Ethernet. So even if I didn't have one of these, so if you flipped your phone over and there's no power cord, that's okay, because some phones get their power from the network cord. All right, so what happens is this network cord that comes from the wall also has power built into the wire which powers the phone. So if you do not have a little power supply or a little power cord going into the phone, that's okay. It probably means you're getting the power from your power over Ethernet. So what you need to do in that case is check and make sure that this is plugged into a network outlet on the wall. So what does a network outlet on the wall look like? I will show you a picture of that right now. So you probably have something kind of like this on the wall that either has one or maybe as many as 4 or 6 of these individual little data and phone outlets. So make sure that the other end of that network cord is plugged into there, because that's probably what's supplying the power if you don't have one of those power cords. So let's assume that power is not an issue, but that when you do come in and you see your phone and it has lights on it, but it's still not working. So there's two things that go on here. One is that when people move things around, they neglect to keep track of what port on the wall that it came out of. So for instance, if you had, say, 2 different network outlets or maybe 4 different network outlets on the wall, when you moved the cords around, it maybe, it was originally in here, but maybe when it got plugged back in, it was over here. Just because there's network ports on the wall doesn't mean they're all active. Sometimes there may only be one that's actually, activated, and the other one may just be dead. So try going back to where the network plug goes into the wall and check to see if maybe it needs to be in the other outlet. Also, are you using the right cord? Don't get these things mixed up. Phone cords and network wires are not the same thing. Here, I'll show you an example. This is a network cable, and the way you can tell is it's got 8 of those little bitty pins on there. I know the camera probably can't focus on that, but there's 8 individual little pins on there. This is what we refer to as an RJ45. So this is a network cord, and this is the cord that your phone needs in order to work properly. On the other hand, this is a phone cord, and there's only 4 or maybe 6 of those little golden pins there. This will not work for your voice over IP phone. So make sure you're using the appropriate cord between your phone and the wall. Also, the other problem you'll have is that there's actually 2 network plugs on the back of the phone. One has a picture, well, it's supposed to be like a little icon for a network, and it looks like kind of like a line with a couple of dots coming off of it. It's supposed to be an icon for a network. The other one right next to it is a picture of a computer, almost like a laptop or maybe a monitor and a keyboard. So what's supposed to happen is the cord that comes from the wall, in other words, the network cord, the RJ45 that comes from the wall, is supposed to go into the spot marked network. All right? And then, and you may or may not have this, but if you have another cable that's going from the phone to your computer, it goes into the spot marked computer. The most common thing I see is people move things around and they get those two plugs mixed up. So from the wall goes into the network, and then if there's another cord going to the computer, it plugs into the spot marked computer. Not everybody uses a cord. Not everybody uses two cords. Okay, and this gives me a chance to show you another symptom. Right now, I don't have a connection to the phone. I've got power, but I don't have a network connection. So the phone right now, I'm trying to get it to focus here for you, says network down or link down. What you also might see are messages that say line not registered. It might also have an exclamation point. Those are telling you that there's no network connectivity. So that's usually indicative of either one of two things. Either one, the network is not plugged in, either it's not plugged into the wall or it's not in the right socket, or like I said in the back, it's not in the right spot. Or the other thing it can mean is that there's a network problem further up the line. So, and that's nothing really you can do much about. But if you know your network connection, your physical connections, the wires going back to the wall and going to the PC are correct, but you're still seeing network down or an exclamation point, it might mean a few things. That either maybe the internet's down for your entire location. So the first thing I would do is find out, do other people's phones work? Or do other computers work? And can other people get internet? Because if they can, then that's telling me, okay, the problem is local just to this phone or to my wall outlet. If they can't, then there's really no point in investigating this any further until that gets corrected, because it means that you're having a location-wide outage. The other thing that can happen too is that even if internet is working, there's something known as a DHCP server, or there's also these special servers that provide information just for the phones. Those might be down. And lastly, you could have a carrier outage. So carrier is the company that actually transports the phone calls. You might be on something like Ring Central or Call Centric or maybe 8x8. Those companies that act as the provider of your service, they may actually be down. All right, and in which case there's really nothing you can do about that except just to make sure that IT knows that the phones aren't working. But that's going to affect everyone's phone, not just yours. All right, so I hope that those things that I just explained will help you remedy whatever it is that's got your phone not working. And if you check all those things before you call IT, then you're going to be in a much better position to make your case with them. Okay, thanks for watching.